What you see around you is nothing more than a shadow of your past thoughts, emotions, and assumptions. The world you call reality is a mirror reflecting your mind's previous states, and yet so many are fooled by this reflection. They look at their circumstances, and they believe them to be unchangeable truths. But what are these conditions? They are simply the effects, not the cause. And if you continue to fixate on what is, you give it the power to persist. You must learn to turn away from appearances. Ignore what the senses scream at you. Your eyes may see lack, your ears may hear defeat, but do not trust them. These are lies when held against the limitless power of imagination. What you imagine, what you feel is true within, has no choice but to outpicture itself in the world you call real. It must come. The outer world is subject to your inner world, and it obeys without question. Your task is not to fight your current circumstances, but to transcend them. Close your eyes to the world of what is and dare to dwell in what could be. Imagine yourself already living the life you desire. Feel it as though it were happening now. Do not wait for evidence. Do not ask when or how. Simply assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and let that state dominate you. When you live in the end, circumstances lose their power over you. You are no longer a slave to appearances. You become free. Free to create, free to feel, free to be. It does not matter what the world looks like today. What matters is the state you occupy now. Assume the feeling of already having what you desire and let that inner conviction guide you. Persist in this assumption, even when the world refuses to agree. Even when doubt creeps in and whispers that nothing is changing, stand firm. For the outer world is slow, but it will bend. It must yield to the greater law, the law that imagination creates reality. Circumstances are powerless without your consent. They have no authority unless you surrender to them. And when you stop paying attention to them, when you no longer allow them to dictate your state of mind, you take back your power. You align yourself with the unseen force that molds worlds. Believe this: no condition is permanent. The moment you assume a new state of being, the world begins to rearrange itself to match that state. It may not happen instantly, but it is happening. You do not have to see the evidence to know it is true. Live boldly in the assumption of your wish fulfilled. Ignore the facts that tell you otherwise. Trust the unseen power within you. Nothing is stronger than the conviction of the one who knows that circumstances are illusions, shadows that will soon be replaced by the light of imagination. Circumstances are not permanent, they are fleeting, like shadows cast by the light of your previous thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs. What you see before you today is not the truth of who you are, nor the truth of what is to come. It is merely the result of the state you once held in your mind, an echo of what you once believed to be real. And yet so many allow these temporary conditions to hold them captive, to convince them that change is impossible. They look at their circumstances and say, "This is my life. This is how it will always be." But this is a lie. What you see now is nothing but an effect. It is not the cause. The cause of all you experience lies within you, in the state of mind you occupy. If you continue to focus on what is, you give it power, and the power you give it binds you to it. You cannot escape the conditions you observe while you remain mentally attached to them. The world outside you is a mirror. It reflects back to you the state you assume within. Change the assumption, and the reflection must change. It is law. Imagine looking into a mirror and seeing an expression you dislike. Would you fight with the mirror? Would you plead with the reflection to change? No, you would know instinctively that to alter the reflection, you must change the expression on your face. So it is with life. Your circumstances are the mirror. They have no life of their own, no power to decide, no ability to act. They are inanimate shadows that follow your inner world. You cannot plead with shadows to transform. You cannot fight against them. But you can withdraw your attention from them. You can close your eyes to what appears to be and dare to imagine something greater. If you wish to experience a new reality, you must cease to dwell in the old. Do not look at your current conditions as barriers. Do not treat them as fixed or permanent truths. When you look at what is and allow it to dominate your thoughts, you perpetuate it. You feed it with your belief, and it grows. Instead, let go of your attachment to the present scene. Let it fade. It has no hold on you unless you choose to give it one. The moment you turn inward and assume a new state of being, the outer world begins to shift. It may not happen immediately, but it is inevitable. Your new assumption, your new belief will grow in the unseen until it becomes visible. It must. For the unseen world of imagination is far more real and powerful than the fleeting conditions you observe with your senses. So never pay attention to your circumstances. Do not let them deceive you into believing they are unchangeable. They are but reflections, shadows cast by your mind. When you release the belief that they are permanent, you release yourself. You begin to see that your imagination is the source, the cause, the creator of all. The life you desire already exists within you, waiting for you to claim it. Your circumstances, no matter how they appear, have no say in the matter. They are temporary, powerless illusions that must yield to the truth of your inner conviction. Your current reality is not a measure of your potential, nor does it hold the power to determine your future. What you are experiencing now, no matter how fixed or real it may seem, is merely a snapshot of your past assumptions, a residue of former states of mind. It has no authority over what comes next unless you allow it. To accept your current circumstances as your truth is to hand over your creative power to a fleeting moment. It is to live as though the reflection in the mirror can control the one who stands before it. You are not bound by what is happening around you. You are not limited by the conditions you see. The world outside is nothing more than an outpicturing of what you once assumed to be true, but assumptions can be changed, and when they change, the outer world must follow. Your potential is limitless because you are not defined by facts, nor confined to appearances. What seems real today is only the result of yesterday's thinking. It is not your destiny unless you choose to let it be. To judge yourself, your life, or your potential by your current reality is to misunderstand the very nature of creation. The circumstances you see are only effects, and effects cannot create. The cause always lies within you in the thoughts you choose, in the assumptions you hold, in the feelings you entertain. Do not look at the conditions of today and declare them permanent, for they are not. The only permanence is the truth you accept as real within yourself. Dare to reject the evidence of your senses. Dare to believe in something greater, even when nothing in your world suggests it is possible. To do so is not denial, it is mastery. It is understanding that your power lies not in reacting to what you see, but in imagining what you wish to see. Your circumstances may say you cannot, but they are only echoes of old states. You do not have to listen. You do not have to obey. Your true potential exists beyond this moment, beyond what is visible, waiting for you to claim it. Turn your attention inward, away from the noise of the world. Your future is not written by what surrounds you, it is written by what you assume to be true within. Hold firm to the vision of the life you desire, not the conditions you face. Let your imagination pull you forward, for it is far more real than any obstacle you now observe. Refuse to let your current reality define you. It is a shadow, a passing scene, and you are the one who determines what comes next. You are the creator of your world, for within you lies the boundless power of imagination. It is this power that shapes and molds every aspect of your life. What you see with your physical eyes is not the ultimate truth, but the result of your inner assumptions made visible. Every circumstance, every condition is born from the invisible realm of thought and feeling. You may believe that life happens to you, that circumstances arise independently, but nothing could be further from the truth. The outer world is merely a reflection of the inner world. It cannot exist on its own. It cannot act unless you give it life through your imagination. Your imagination is the origin of all creation. It is the unseen force that breathes reality into existence. It does not matter what your current circumstances are. They have no power of their own. They are the product of yesterday's imagination, and they only persist if you continue to believe in them, to pay attention to them, to accept them as fixed. But you are not here to be a victim of appearances. You are here to transcend them. You are here to rise above what the senses show you and create anew through the limitless power within you. What you imagine with feeling becomes your reality. What you consistently assume to be true must, by law, appear in your world. So when your circumstances contradict your desires, do not submit to them. Do not give them your attention, for to focus on them is to perpetuate them. Instead, turn inward. Imagination is your escape from the chains of what is. It is your doorway to what could be. It is the tool by which you claim the life you wish to live, regardless of what the world says is possible. Close your eyes to the facts of life. Shut out the voices that say this is the way things are, and they cannot change, they do not know the truth. The truth is that your imagination holds the power to rearrange all things. When you assume a new state of being, when you imagine yourself already living the life you desire, the world must conform. It has no choice. The circumstances around you, no matter how real they seem, are but clay in the hands of the potter. You are the potter. You are the creator. Do not let appearances deceive you. What you see now is nothing more than a passing shadow of an old assumption. It is not your future. Your future exists within you, in the vision you hold, in the state you occupy. Persist in the assumption of what you desire, and the world will bend to your will. Let imagination lead you. Let it be the place you dwell, for when you live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, nothing can stop the manifestation of your dream. You are not bound by circumstances. You are not defined by what the world shows you. You are the master of your reality, for your imagination is the power that creates worlds. Use it boldly. Use it deliberately. Let go of what is and give life to what can be. In doing so, you will know the truth that nothing outside of you has the power to shape your life, for you alone are the creator. Paying attention to your circumstances reinforces their hold over you, because whatever you focus on with feeling, you give life to. The world you see is not separate from you. It is a reflection of your inner state, and when you allow yourself to be consumed by what currently exists, you unknowingly bind yourself to it. Your attention is the key that locks or unlocks the doors of possibility. To look at your circumstances and declare them unchangeable is to surrender your creative power and affirm their permanence. Yet nothing in this world is fixed except by the mind that believes it so. The moment you accept what is as the ultimate truth, you fuel it with your energy. You allow it to grow stronger, more solid, and more real. Your attention is not passive, it is a creative force. Where you place it determines what you experience. If you stare at a life you do not wish to live and allow it to dominate your thoughts, you are silently saying, "This is who I am. This is my reality," and in doing so, you perpetuate it. The more you focus on the undesirable, the more it takes root within you, for you are the source that sustains it. To free yourself, you must withdraw your attention from the evidence of the senses. You must stop feeding what you do not want, and instead turn your gaze inward to the life you desire to see. The circumstances around you are only effects, and effects have no power to recreate themselves. They are lifeless shadows that can only exist if you continue to focus on them. You are the one who gives them substance. Take your attention away, and they will begin to dissolve, for they cannot live without you. It may seem difficult at first because the senses scream for your loyalty. They demand that you believe in what is visible, what is tangible, what feels undeniable. But you are not bound to live at the mercy of appearances. To pay attention to your circumstances is to forget who you truly are, a creator, one who imagines and brings forth that which he desires. Refuse to dwell on what does not serve you. Ignore the noise of the world and turn to the silence of your imagination. where all possibilities exist. What you persistently imagine, you become. When you shift your focus from the outer world to the inner, from what is to what could be, you withdraw power from your present conditions. You take back control. The circumstances that once seemed immovable begin to weaken, because they can no longer hold your attention. Do not let what you see now deceive you into believing you are stuck. The world reflects only what you have assumed to be true. Assume something new. Imagine something greater. Let the life you desire dominate your mind, and the hold of your current circumstances will be broken. What you pay attention to expands, and what you ignore withers away. This is the nature of creation. To give attention to your circumstances is to water the weeds, allowing them to grow and choke the garden of your desires. Stop looking at the weeds. Stop describing them, analyzing them, or believing in their permanence. They are not your reality unless you claim them to be. Instead, turn all your energy to what you wish to experience. To nurture it within, live in it mentally, and let the outer world transform in response to your inner shift. Withdraw your attention from anything that does not align with the life you want to live. For the moment you stop believing in the power of your circumstances, they lose their hold on you, and you step into the boundless freedom of creation. The imagination is far greater than any physical evidence you observe because it is the source of all creation. What you see in the outer world is not the cause but the effect, a manifestation of thoughts, feelings, and assumptions once entertained within the unseen realm of imagination. The physical world is a shadow, a reflection cast by the mind, and to mistake it for reality is to forget your own creative power. It is to believe that the shadow has life of its own, when in truth, it is the light of imagination that gives it form. When you give more weight to physical evidence than to your imagination, you limit yourself to what already exists. You confine yourself to a cycle of repetition, allowing what is seen to dictate what is possible. But the imagination is not bound by the facts of life, it transcends them. It sees beyond appearances and reveals to you the infinite potential that exists within. No matter how immovable your circumstances appear, they are powerless against the force of imagination when it is deliberately and persistently applied. Physical evidence changes, but imagination is eternal. The house you stand in, the clothes you wear, the life you live, all of it was first imagined by someone. Imagination is the blueprint of creation, the invisible power through which all things come to be. The moment you realize this, you understand that no circumstance, no matter how real it seems, has the authority to limit you. It is only a reflection of a former state of mind, and if you dare to imagine something greater, the reflection must change. To place your faith in physical evidence is to bow to the past, for what you see now is merely a result of what you once believed to be true. But you are not bound to repeat the past. Imagination allows you to move beyond it, to create anew. It does not matter how loud the world speaks of limitation, nor how convincing the facts may seem. Imagination whispers a deeper truth. What you assume to be real within will become real without. You must learn to close your eyes to the evidence of the senses and open them to the visions of imagination. For what you imagine with feeling has a power far greater than any obstacle you observe. It is not fantasy or wishful thinking, it is the very act of creation. The world you see today was once unseen, born from the mind of one who dared to believe in the invisible. What you hold in imagination with faith becomes inevitable. It must take form, for the unseen is always greater than the seen. If your circumstances do not reflect the life you desire, do not give them your attention. Do not argue with them, analyze them, or fight against them. Turn instead to your imagination, where all things are possible. Imagine yourself as you wish to be, and persist in that assumption. The physical world may resist at first, for it is slow to change, but it must yield to the power that created it. The imagination knows no limits, no barriers, and no impossibilities. It will move mountains, rearrange the world, and dissolve the evidence you once believed to be unshakable. You are not at the mercy of appearances, for the imagination holds dominion over all things. It is far greater than any physical evidence you observe, for it is the cause, while the world outside is merely the effect. When you understand this, you will no longer allow circumstances to dictate your life. You will claim your power, knowing that imagination creates reality, and reality must always reflect the truth you persistently hold within. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, regardless of what the world shows you, for the outer world is nothing more than the shadow of your inner state. Circumstances, no matter how they appear, are powerless unless you give them life through your attention. The world outside cannot dictate your destiny unless you allow it to. To assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled is to rise above appearances and live in the reality of your creation before it takes physical form. It is to claim what is yours, here and now, with unshakable faith in the unseen. The world you observe is only a mirror of the thoughts and feelings you have entertained in the past. If you persist in focusing on what is, you simply prolong its existence. But when you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you impress a new state onto the mind, and the mirror must reflect it. It cannot do otherwise. To feel now as though your desire has already come to pass is to step into the role of the creator. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstances, you are their master. The feeling is the key. You cannot wait for the world to show you evidence before you believe, for that is to live as a servant to what is. The world changes only when you change within. Assume the state of being, doing, and having all that you desire. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the relief as though your wish is already a reality. Let it fill your mind and heart until it feels natural, until it becomes the truth of who you are. The world will resist at first, clinging to the old reflection, but persist. Hold steadfast to the feeling, unmoved by appearances, knowing that the unseen is far more real than the seen. You must ignore the facts of life that contradict your wish. They are only echoes of former thoughts and beliefs, and they hold no power to stop you unless you believe they do. To assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled is to stand firm in your imagination, unwavering, as the world bends to your inner vision. It is not pretending, nor is it idle daydreaming, it is the deliberate act of creation. You are calling forth what does not yet exist, and by feeling it as real, you give it life. When you live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are no longer seeking, you are possessing. You are not hoping for a better reality, you are embodying it. The world must conform to this new state, because the outer world cannot help but follow the inner. All creation begins and ends within you. To assume the feeling is to accept the fulfillment of your desire as fact, regardless of what the senses tell you. You no longer look to the world for proof, because you know the proof will come. It is this unwavering persistence in the feeling that breaks the hold of circumstances. You no longer react to what appears to be. Instead, you respond only to the vision you hold within, the vision that lives in the feeling of already having what you desire. The moment you claim this feeling, the work is done. The world may lag in its reflection, but it must come. It is law. The outer world is but a shadow, and shadows must obey the light that casts them. Feel it now. Feel it deeply and consistently. Live as though your wish is already fulfilled, and let the world rearrange itself around your new assumption. Do not waver, do not doubt, and do not look to the evidence of your senses for validation. Know that the feeling is the reality, and the rest will follow. Persist in your assumption until the unseen becomes seen, for it is through unwavering belief in the unseen that you shape your reality. The world around you is but a reflection, a mirror that can only show you what you believe to be true within. If you allow circumstances, no matter how solid they may seem, to dictate your thoughts, then you remain a prisoner to the past. But if you persist in the assumption of what you desire, you alter the very fabric of your reality. The mind does not distinguish between what is imagined and what is real. What you assume to be true within, the world will eventually reflect without. But this process requires persistence. The world will present itself to you in the form of your current beliefs, tempting you to accept the evidence of the senses as reality. The key is to disregard these external signs and remain steadfast in your inner assumption. No matter how contradictory the circumstances may appear, remain firm in your vision, for it is your vision, your assumption, that holds the power to create. Persistence is not about forcing the world to conform to your will. It is about holding the state of being you desire without being swayed by appearances. To persist is to stand firm in the belief that what you imagine is already real. You must continue to live in the assumption of your wish fulfilled, regardless of what the world shows you in this moment. You are not bound by what is. You are the creator of your world, and your creation is born from what you persistently hold in your heart and mind. It may seem difficult at first, for the senses are loud, and the world is quick to remind you of what is. Yet the moment you look away from the evidence around you and turn your attention inward, you are entering the realm of creation. The world outside cannot touch you unless you allow it to. Persist in your assumption, feel it, live it, and gradually the unseen world you have imagined will take form in your experience. Do not be deterred by time or delay, for the unseen operates according to its own rhythm. What you have assumed in the unseen will not fail to manifest. The power lies in your consistency. Even when the external world contradicts your assumption, continue to live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The more you persist, the more the unseen begins to move toward you, working behind the scenes to bring your desire into form. It is not the passing moment that defines your future, but the persistent assumption you hold in the depths of your being. The world must yield to the power of your inner vision. Do not look for evidence in the present moment. Trust that your assumption is already working to bring the unseen into the scene. Keep the faith, and in time the illusion of separation between what you desire and what is will vanish, for all things are birthed from the same source, your imagination. The outer world must eventually conform to your inner state of being, because the external world is nothing more than the reflection of your inner thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. What you experience in the world outside is simply a mirror of what you hold true within. The moment you realize this, you come to understand that your world is not at the mercy of chance or circumstance, but rather it is the product of your internal state. Your outer world is a direct expression of your inner world. Every situation, every person, every event is shaped by your inner assumptions, attitudes, and perceptions. When you change your inner state, when you align your thoughts and feelings with the reality you wish to experience, the world must shift to reflect that change. It does not matter what your present circumstances are or how immovable they seem. They are only the result of past thinking, and they hold no power over your future unless you allow them to. The true power lies in your ability to persist in a new inner state, one that aligns with your desires and not with the limitations of your current reality. The mistake most people make is believing that the outer world dictates their inner state, but the truth is the opposite. The world does not impose itself upon you. It is a mere projection of your own beliefs. If you look at your life and see lack, limitation, or dissatisfaction, it is not the world doing this to you. It is your own inner assumptions about yourself and the world that have shaped this experience. To change your reality, you must first change the assumptions you hold about yourself, your worth, and the possibilities available to you. The more you align your inner state with the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the more the outer world must yield to that assumption. It is a law of creation. The external world has no choice but to reflect the inner state of being. This is why it is so important to guard your thoughts and feelings, for they are the seeds from which your reality grows. When you hold on to thoughts of abundance, success, and joy, the world must reflect that back to you in kind. When you allow fear, doubt, or worry to dominate your mind, the world will mirror those feelings with corresponding circumstances. It is a matter of consistency and persistence. You must hold to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, no matter how contrary the world may seem. The more you live in the assumption that your desires are already fulfilled, the more the outer world will begin to conform to that assumption. It may take time for the physical world to catch up with the shift you've made internally, But rest assured, it is only a matter of time. The world moves in harmony with your inner state, and eventually it must reflect the changes you've made within yourself. Your power lies not in reacting to the world, but in knowing that the outer world is simply a reflection of what you have believed to be true. By assuming the state of your desire, by living in the feeling of fulfillment, you are directing the world to conform to your inner vision. There is no separation between what you feel inside and what you experience outside. They are two sides of the same coin. Change one and the other must follow.